Recently, it's come to my attention that there is a suboptimal zombie counting algorithm ruining the immersion of players on multiplayer. According to my analysis, the game is so good that players refuse to take breaks. However, in their search for the ever diminishing nostalgia of their first days of the apocalypse, the players keep increasing the amount of zombies. The ZCA, as I like to call it, is preventing the players from effectively increasing the zombie numbers. Research has shown that enjoyment is down by up to 20%. In my scramble to solve the problem, I've discovered a fellow researcher has already come up with a temporary fix. After exposing several long-term players to the fix, their enjoyment has not only returned to previous levels, but for many it's increased.
If you are playing in multiplayer, you absolutely need to use the Zombie Fix mod. It fixes a game-breaking issue where too many zombies causes all of the zombies to be deleted or removed. To really highlight what this mod does, I'm going to log into my dedicated test server. I've only changed two things from the default setting. I've maxed the zombie population and turned off rally groups. Anyone who has played in single player with the max zombie population settings will immediately notice that there aren't enough zombies around. But I'll run around and find a more obvious example of what's going on. Now watch this. As I run through this pack, the zombies in the parking lot disappear. Next, as I'm facing away from them, I turn around and they're gone. To cap it off, as I turn around a final time, you can watch as the zombies out in the grass also get deleted. Max population West Point with no other players on the server and no mods. Yet all of the zombies are gone. As you can see from my millisecond ping, it's not desync. Now I've installed the mod and I'm going to run around on the same server with the same settings aside from using this single mod. Do you notice something? None of the zombies are disappearing. In fact, there are so many zombies it's getting hard to stay alive, so I'm going to come back in admin mode. I can spin around as many times as I want, but no zombies disappear. What's going on here? Well, multiplayer Zomboid has a zombie limit. You can read this entire 18-page Steam community thread about how it works and how a user has band-aid fixed it, but long story short, anything above 500 zombies should be deleted. Yes, deleted. As far as I can tell from the developer response, they are deleted. Respawns and migration eventually fill in the cleared area. If it's supposed to call anything over 500 zombies, why did I end up with almost no zombies near me? I have a theory as to what's happening here. I think it's deleting older zombies first. So what happens when I run through huge packs of zombies is that it deletes zombies outside of my vision first, and then starts deleting the ones in front of me as the population gets too high. But the closest zombies to me are the oldest, so those are removed as well due to the extremely high zombie population I set on the server. Whether I'm right or wrong doesn't matter, because reality is that there are no zombies, and no zombies means no fun. Our server doesn't use a high population. Will this mod do anything for us? In normal circumstances, it shouldn't, but the zombie population, even on default settings, is high enough that a loud noise can draw in more than 500 zombies. Loud noises being alarms, horns, sirens, helicopters, meta events, and shotguns. As you can see from the zombie population map, there are plenty of places in LV and West Point with enough zombies to cause zombie culling to occur. However, at such a low population, even if some zombies out of sight are being called, you may not notice other than a general disappointment if you happen to have done the same thing in single player before, as single player does not have the same limitation. Obviously, using this mod is not condoned by the developers. All the mod does is max the number of zombies before calling to a high number with no regard for anything else. As good as the pro of being able to play with a high zombie population on servers is, it comes with a handful of cons. The number one con is that having a metric ton of zombies on your screen destroys your FPS. So does zooming out when absolutely nothing aside from grass is on your screen. You'll just have to deal with it. Zomboid is currently heavily CPU bound as you zoom out. The faster your CPU, the higher your FPS. The second worst con is that you have to manually install this mod. Just subscribing to it isn't enough. As such, I've included a guide on how to install the mod at the end of the video. If the game updates, you'll have to manually reinstall it again. If you're unwilling to manually install the mod, I understand. Luckily, the developers are working on Build 42 now, so Build 41 should not be updated frequently anymore. Speaking of Build 42, that is when some performance improvements should be happening, and when the dev hinted they would take a look at making the zombie culling code a bit more graceful at removing zombies. How about the server's performance? Surprisingly and unsurprisingly, the server handles this mod very well. If you didn't know, the zombies are passed off to the player client, so the server doesn't waste many resources on the masses of zombies. The only real issues occur when admins teleport into groups of zombies or use the fast move hack to zoom around. Both of these actions will cause noticeable temporary lag problems as the server catches up. Normal players might be able to cause this problem if they could drive fast, but it turns out it's really hard to drive fast through a million zombies on the street, and they tend to quickly die. The issue sorts itself out. The only constant hit to the server I noticed is that it uses a bit more memory per player. Obviously, you're not going to be able to run a large amount of players on a max pop server, but you will be amazed at the number of zombies roaming around when you keep the population at a reasonable ×6 or ×4 compared to without the mod. It turns out all those alarms, sirens, and car horns can draw in more than 500 zombies. Even if you can't get the players on your server to install this mod, make sure your admins do, as they are the ones most likely to teleport into the middle of a massive horde of zombies, causing most of them to be deleted. Now I'll show you how to install the mod. We start out in the Steam workshop for Project Zomboid, where you can look up the zombie fix mod and subscribe to it. Once that finishes downloading, right-click Project Zomboid in your Steam library. Go to Manage, and then Browse Local Files. Back out of this folder into the Steam Apps folder. Open the Workshop folder, the Content folder, and the folder named 108600. This is the folder that the Project Zomboid mods live in. I'll put the name of the folder the mod is in on screen as it's pretty long. When you find it, open it. Open the mods folder and the zombie fix folder. Finally, you can copy the zombie folder. Now you can close out of this and go back to your Steam library. Right-click Zomboid, go to Manage, and then Browse Local Files. Right here is the zombie folder we will be replacing, so I will right-click and paste. Replace the files, and you have successfully installed the mod. Remember, you will need to do this again if the game updates. Good luck, and have fun, everyone.